everybody, what is going on? This is Eric from Online Biz TV, where we teach you pretty much anything and everything you need to know about doing business online. Today's video is going to be a little bit more personal, and this is just going to be me telling you a little bit about my story. The first question you're probably asking yourself is, why should I listen to this guy? It took us a while, but our company now generates a little over $200,000 a month. It's been a hard few years and we learned a lot, did a lot of mistakes, but I think there are probably a few lessons you can learn from my story and how we got to where we are today. Now, before we get started, please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you know whenever I release new videos. Also, check out our YouTube channel. We got tons of free videos in there talking all about micro SaaS and how to get started. Some things are more advanced, some things are more for beginners. There's also a free crash course you can check out. I apologize for my English in advance because, English is not my native tongue. So I'll do my best here and stay tuned and let's get into my story. My story began somewhere in 2014. I got out of the Israeli army. It's a mandatory thing. I started as a waiter in Tel Aviv. I moved to Tel Aviv from a very small village in the north part of Israel. I've been a waiter for a while. I was looking for the next thing to do. I didn't want to go to university because it was never my thing. I hated school. I hated learning things that I didn't find interesting or I didn't see how they can help me in the future. I'm more of a practical type of person. My roommate back in the day told me, you know what, let's do something related to real estate. So we became real estate agents and I wasn't good at this, but I did become very good at face-to-face sales. We tried it for about 8 months, failed miserably. Eventually I decided to quit. Then another friend of mine, a good friend, told me, you know what, let's open an online store using Shopify. He told me something called dropshipping. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't have any computer capabilities back in the day. I didn't know how to turn on and off computers. Actually, I'm going to close it. So yeah, he told me let's open an online store. We saw this crash course of about 2 hours from 2 Canadian guys that had a huge sex toys dropshipping store. We moved to another city in Israel to kind of, just turn off all the noise from Tel Aviv, and we started our business from back then. We didn't know what we're doing too much. We did a lot of mistakes. We lost a lot of money. It took about 8 months of complete failure when we decided to actually leave Israel and go to Krakow just to live in an even more quiet environment. Also, we met our mentors, the guys who created the course in Krakow, and there was a lot of other guys doing dropshipping. So at this point, we weren't able to make any money. We just kept losing month over month, but we learned a lot. So we did pretty much everything right in order to start generating revenue. We made a lot of sales, but we weren't profitable because we didn't understand that the business model itself wasn't right or it didn't fit our type of business. I can explain more in details. I don't know, you know what, I'll tell you. Pretty much these guys had a sex toys company, so they sold everything using Google Ads. And the thing is, with sex toys, you can't pretty much advertise anywhere other than search engines. So you couldn't spend any money on Facebook, you couldn't spend any money on there wasn't even TikTok back in the day. But yeah, there was pretty much Facebook and Google, and you couldn't spend any money on Facebook. So all the traffic went through Google. And it worked very well for them because it's a big industry. And we started with MMA equipment and punching bags, all of this. And when we tried advertising on Google, we just couldn't get enough traffic. And we kept trying and kept trying. It just didn't work. Also, our profit margins weren't good enough. We worked with direct suppliers from the US and the profit margins weren't there. And we didn't know that. No one was there to teach us. So we kept losing a lot of money, but everything else we've done right. We learned everything about Shopify back in the day, anything about how to run an online business, how to generate sales, how to do marketing. We just didn't understand that these 2 key points about the marketing platform and the profit margins, we just didn't get it. After 2 years, more than 2 years, we were pretty much broke. We understood that the business model didn't work. And then what we've done is we took the same product that actually sold, just weren't profitable. It was like $60 product that we bought for like $45. We just found a different version of that product on AliExpress that cost like $4. We sold it for $20, and then suddenly everything exploded because we already had the pixels in place. We already had all the data. And then when we created a lookalike audience and sold the same product, which is 3 times cheaper, suddenly it started converting, and then everything grew really fast. We grew from pretty much nothing to about $1 million in sales, I think in 6 months. And me and my previous partner, still very good friends by the way, decided to split out for some, personal reasons, some professional reasons. So I sold my half of the company to him, and I decided to start building apps for e-commerce. With our store, I was the one responsible for whenever a new app came out to the market, I was always the first one to try it on my store, try to get ahead of the rest of the competition, trying to get ahead in terms of new technology, and that always worked out for us. The App Store was also less competitive, and as a merchant, because I've been in the Shopify ecosystem for so long, I knew what other pain points are missing. I knew there are a lot of other things that are still just not on the App Store, and I knew that merchants need them because I needed them, and if I needed them, I guess other merchants would need them too. So I wanted to build an app. My sister back in the day, Ruth, you probably know her from the other videos. So she had her own online store. It was much smaller than the one we ran back in the day. I told her, Ruth, let's just build an app. And she's like, no, listen, it's complex. There are a lot of server stuff and code stuff. And I'm like, no, listen, it's gonna be fine. Let's just do this. We didn't think too much, but we did understand a few concepts that were obvious to us, but they're not obvious for other people. And these points are that you need to do it fast, you need to be very budget friendly, and you need to ship the product fast. Okay, so what we've done is over the time, I built a list of apps that I knew were missing. So we took this list, gave all the ideas we got a score from 1 to 10 in a few different categories like complexity, pricing, marketing potential, competitors, all of that. And then we took the ones with the highest potential and we started with very small app just to test the water. This app is called Shipping Tags. It's still on the Shopify App Store, and it basically allowed merchants to provide different shipping rates based on product tags. And it wasn't an option back in the day in Shopify. We just created a specification document. It was very short, I think like 2 pages long. We searched for a developer that already built apps for Shopify in order to make sure that they can handle it. So we found our first developers. By the way, we're still working with them today. Great guys. We asked for a budget for the entire first project. It was, I think, about $2,000 to $3,000, nothing more than that. We didn't try to build something huge. We just wanted to test the water and make sure that we can get some paying customers. So we got into the development process. It was pretty much all about daily calls, making sure that things are moving on as projected and as we planned. And I think 2 months later, the first app was on the Shopify App Store. We got installs starting day one. Every day we got a bunch of installs. We saw some money starting to build up, and then we just decided to, go big. We understood that we kind of understand the market. We weren't living in La La Land or anything like that. That was real, the need was real. And that's when we decided to go with our second and big product, which is still the biggest product today, Reconvert. So we created another specification document. We gave the same team, the same work. We just knew there's more potential. Obviously, it was a little bit more expensive of a project. So we got everything we need. We saved up to have this money available for us. This product blew up right away. Now, obviously, it's not what happens with all products, but it grew to where it is right now. It's the main moneymaker of the company and it works really well. We have tens of thousands of customers. We developed a bunch of different apps since then. We have a big team now. We have a production team. We have Ellie here who's filming everything and make sure we have an active YouTube channel. I think now we have about 12 people in Israel and about 30 more people spread out all across the globe. And we continue to grow. We continue to do a bunch of stuff. So I just wanted to tell you this story for a bunch of reasons. First of all, it shouldn't be easy, because if it comes easy, it probably disappear the same way. You need to be ready for some challenges. There are some days when you're going to feel like a pit of emptiness within you and you're going to feel bad and you're going to go to sleep crying in your bed. That's completely normal. Don't get upset about it. Sometimes you're not going to see where the sunshine is going to come from. You're not going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So you need to keep going, and only if there are really no other options, only then split out. Second, it's going to take time. For us, it took like 2.5 years just to start generating some revenue. So, you can look at Reconvert and say, oh, you started from day one, but it's not the truth. The truth is we got into e-commerce back in 2015. We struggled for 3 years until we generated some revenue, learned the ecosystem, and then build a product after understanding the ecosystem. So don't think you can just go somewhere, build something, and it's going to explode. No, you need to understand the market you're in. You need to learn all the different areas of the business to build processes and how to make everything organized. And the most important thing is, if you do fail, that's fine as well. As long as you learn from your failures, you're going to be ready to move on to the next thing and make it succeed. And that's exactly, I think, what we've done over the past few years. So yeah, that's pretty much my personal story. I'm sure most of you probably don't find it that interesting, but if you do, please make sure to hit that like button. And if you have any comments, please make sure to comment them in the comment section below. I promise I will personally answer each and every one of you. If you like the channel, please make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.